A popular way to make modern games these days is to use retro style and type of gameplay. One of my favorite games in this style is Shovel Knight. This game looks and sounds like it's being played straight off an NES and is perfection. Join me today as I review Shovel Knight. Let's get into it. For Shovelry. Shovel Knight by Yacht Club is one of my favorite games because it is modern, but in a retro style. It clearly takes ideas from classic retro games like Mega Man and definitely takes features from DuckTales for the NES. Both Shovel Knight and Scrooge McDuck can pogo on bad guys. They are also both super greedy and wanting to collect jewels and gold. Also, just like in Mega Man, the levels each have their own special theme that is based on the boss you will fight. There are themes like water, lava, poison, steampunk, ice, and others. It has everything a good game should have, like bad guys, bosses, checkpoints, and challenging obstacles that can kill you. But personally, for me, the most important thing about Shovel Knight is the gemstone collecting. As you can see, I'm a big gemstone collector, and in this game, you get to play as a gemstone hoarder, and collecting them is a core part of your gameplay. With gems, you can buy special armor and weapons to make the game a bit easier, but it never makes it that much easier. This game is old school hard. You die a lot. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. Thankfully, the game doesn't have lives, and you can try the levels as many times as you want. Instead of losing a life, when you die, you lose some of your sweet coinage. You can try to get it back, but be careful. You can die just as easily attempting to rescue your money. I love how they make your lost money appear as floating bags. There are also checkpoints, which, if you're confident enough, you can break to get lots and lots of gems. But if you die, you don't get to return to any checkpoints that you broke. You go to the last unbroken checkpoint. My dad and I sometimes broke the checkpoints on levels we were good at to farm gems. You can get relics that give you abilities like fireballs, throwing anchors, a few seconds of invincibility, or fishing in the bottomless pits to get gems. There's lots more too. You can learn a few new moves and upgrade your shovel to do things like charged attacks. There are a few towns in the game where there are no bad guys, and you can interact with the different people. The dialogue is really funny and the character designs are hilarious. The game controls very well. Most of the time, you just use two buttons, jump and attack. You have to master these controls because the game will expect you to react quickly and have good timing when platforming. You never feel like you're fighting with the controls in this game. The music in Shovel Knight adds to the goodness of this game. It matches with the scenery and level design really well. My favorite track is In the Halls of the Usurper. Have a listen. Doesn't that remind you of a really old 8-bit game? Another fun part of Shovel Knight is that it has a 2-player co-op. This can be a real blast, but you better really like the person you're playing with because when one player dies, they can steal health from the other person in order to come back to life. If the person you're playing with is good, it can make the bosses a lot easier. I played this one with my dad a lot, and we really enjoyed it. If you want to rage quit, just give yourself a break instead of quitting the game entirely. When my dad and I played, we would get really frustrated at certain parts, take a break, and then come back later and find them not to be as challenging as they were originally. Shovel Knight is actually made up of multiple parts with different stories. If you have Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, then you will already have all of these parts. The different stories are Shovel of Hope, Plague of Shadows, Spectre of Torment, King of Cards, which includes a fighting game called Shovel Knight Showdown. I definitely recommend getting the full game with all the parts because the other stories let you play as some of the bosses you have to defeat, which have unique powers and abilities. If I've convinced you to play Shovel Knight, there are lots of consoles you can play it on. This game is available on Nintendo 3DS, but that digital store has shut down, so it might be challenging to get that version. It's a shame too, because the 3DS version is really neat in how it uses the 3DS's 3D screen. There have also been some fun spin-off games in the Shovel Knight series. Yacht Club has released Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon and Shovel Knight Dig. Pocket Dungeon is a dungeon crawler puzzle game, and Dig is a challenging platformer where you lose all your level progress when you die. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell so you are notified when I post my next video. Instead of telling you what my next video is, I'm going to give you a little hint. If you think you know what it is, leave a comment telling me. Thank you for watching.